I'm back.
Can you feel the heat? I don't care if you don't like me. Fight me.
So hello everybody, I'm Vegeta Sasuke Zero, and today is a very interesting day because, well, we've all probably heard about it. The thing that's rocking the entire voice acting, abridging, and anime communities, the whole Vic Mignogna scandal. Well, that's part of what this is about, but we're going to talk a little bit more about the rumors and some of the things that have been really kind of bothering everybody in the abridged community. And that is a lot of the recent confusion, a lot of the recent drama, a lot of the shocking information that's come out as of late. And, well, I'm going to insert the clip right here for everybody.
I heard a rumor today about Team 4-Star and Toei Animation. You may want to. I'm not saying this is true because I've got one source on it and it's a rumor, but it is. I mean, I trust this source. So here's my understanding is that Team 4-Star, I mean, they monetize their YouTube content. They have various attire for sale. There are monetized aspects of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Absolutely, there are. So anybody who says that they're non-monetized, that's not true. You say they're not for profit. Not for profit doesn't mean revenue neutral or revenue negative or something like that. That's non-revenue. Non-profit means that they don't keep a profit above their costs. So revenue comes in, people are typically in a non-profit, people are paid, and then any excess money goes into improving the service itself. The owners are not taking profit out of the company. The money is going back into the company. I don't know how Team 4-Star does any of that, but the rumor that I heard about Team 4-Star is that all of the money that they make that would be considered profit on the Dragon Ball Z property goes to Funimation. Which again, from what I've heard, Toei Animation is not really happy with Team 4-Star, and Funimation was somehow shielding them, and it appears possible, according to my source, that Funimation might have a monetary incentive to intervene between Toei and Team 4-Star.
Now, you see that video there. Nick Rekieta is kind of neutral on the subject, at least from my opinion. He doesn't like what Funimation is doing, but he sees that Team 4-Star is no better than what I was telling everyone all along. And, well, as it turns out, yeah, they're really not that great, because one of the things that's been bothering a lot of people was the fact that they're just not gonna do BoJack Unbound Abridged. Yeah, as everyone knows, they decided they wanted to skip over it. The thing that they've been building up to for who knows how long. Well, since season 1, we know that, my bad. We know that they've been building up for Pirate BoJack for, forever. And the thing that's been bothering me was that for a very long time they've been also pointing out that, they had up to the Cell Saga, completely planned out, or at least somewhat scripted. This has been almost 10 years ago. You would think that they would have had the whole thing planned out and finished by now. The whole Boo Saga, I get that, it takes a while to write all that, but they're a business. Regardless of how you look at it, they're a business. That's what they're, that's their whole entire thing. They want to make money. And undoubtedly, that dub of that anime Hells that they were doing, that was pretty much a pity dub. Nobody sees them as actual voice actors. And they've been working at this for over 10 years. They've been looking for actual jobs, and nobody wants to actually hire them. Sure, they got a few roles in Dragon Ball movie, or not Dragon Ball movies, my bad. Dragon Ball games, because they kind of sucked up to people at Funimation. Because Funimation, as Nick Rekieta said, regardless if you like Nick Rekieta or you hate him, because I know a lot of people don't like Nick Rekieta, he's got a point. Funimation covers for Team 4 Star because it's free publicity for them. And in return, Funimation will do what's right for the people that support them, until they do something that doesn't support them, like what happened with Vic Mignogna. And regardless if you know the situation or not, it's a very tough situation for everybody involved. Now, everybody knows my dislike for Team 4 Star because of their history of stealing jokes, making content, and taking credit for things that they shouldn't. Even though it's considered a fan-based parody, at this point in time, if you look at it, Little Karibo's taking a break from all the things that he's been working on, this is the longest break that he's ever taken. Like, mind you that. While people like Team 4 Star are now almost on, a whole, considering that their schedule has been very lowered and their schedule has really slowed down in the recent years. I'm sorry, but at this point in time, I think Team 4 Star is pretty much semi-retired from doing abridged parodies. They want to branch out and do other work, but a lot of their comedy just isn't good. I'm sorry to break it to you. I'm getting older, and I'm starting to see more and more that Team 4 Star just doesn't hold up as much as it used to. Their comedy is just stale, unoriginal. And a lot of the people who, I consider to be peers, a lot of those guys aren't making content anymore, if you've noticed. I'm sorry to point that out. Sam the Greek, not making content anymore. Twilight Wolf 183, not making content anymore. Especially considering the fact that his Soul Eater Abridged was one of the better, parodies out there. I mean, the guy may not, see eye to eye with me because of things I've said when I was younger, but his parody was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the things that still hold up, are his, one of the things that does hold up, along with HBI 2K's, Gantz, is definitely Soul Eater. And some of Team 4 Star's work, like Season 1, it kind of still holds up, but the rest of it, after halfway through Season 1 of Team 4 Star's Dragon Ball Z Abridged, it doesn't hold up very well, if you've noticed. A lot of people will disagree with me, but I'm pretty sure I'm spot on. Now, I don't care what you think of my parodies, but I don't do these as a, week to week or month to month series. I do it maybe bi-yearly, if you've noticed. I don't make content like I used to. And that's because of the way that, I've pretty much suffered from anxiety and depression. I can't make the content the way that I used to. Honestly, I have trouble coming up with stuff that I deem funny these days. And that's part of growing up. Because sometimes you don't think that things that you make are really funny as you used to think. And honestly, a lot of the guys in Team 4 Star, they're getting old. A lot of Team 4 Star's content has just really gone downhill. A lot of their comedy they don't find a lot of that comedy to be really there anymore. They don't enjoy that comedy. If you want, all those Mr. Popo jokes or all those, Dodge jokes or, any of the "Hey Vegeta" jokes, those aren't there anymore because, well, a lot of them aren't really considered funny by them anymore. They've kind of, they've ran out of fuel. And this being, someone who's known a lot of those guys, I know that, they aren't the same people they used to be. Like I said, a lot of guys like Sam the Greek, Twilight Wolf, guys like Purple Eyes, a lot of those guys, if you notice, they're not making content anymore. And why is that, do you think? Because a lot of them have moved on, because it was just a phase in their lives. Abridging used to be a very hot commodity. And then a lot of the things that Team 4-Star did kind of changed the way that a lot of content creators look at things. Anyone used to be able to just throw anime into Sony Vegas or Adobe and, dub over it. Because that's how things used to be. Now it's just, where do we go from here? Something witty. Those guys are just getting back on track. And it's good for them. I'm happy for them. They're getting back into making content, and that's good on them. They deserve to keep making content. Do I personally enjoy their content? It's hit or miss with me. They're not the worst thing that's happened to Abridging. But what I can say is that I'm not sure if there's really a long lifespan left for Abridging, because like I've said before, in my last video on this channel, where do we go from here once Team 4-Star decide they want to close up shop on Abridging? They're not going to keep making Dragon Ball Z Abridged forever. If you notice, now that they're producing less and less episodes, you don't really see their fan base talking about them as much. They'll say they support them, but they're not as supported as they once were. Sure, they still got the subscribers, but where do they go from here? Do you really see them lasting, another 10 years? Because I don't. It's already, I think, 11 years since they started in 2008? I don't see them lasting this long. Like, they won't last another 10 years. It'll be, that's the thing. Dragon Ball Z Abridged will be remembered. It just won't be... It won't be, it'll be a hidden gem at this point. If Abridging is remembered. I'm working with a lot of wonderful people on a lot of things. I've done my best to help out with a lot of up and coming people. I've done my part in giving advice, and I've done my part to help the community by somewhat restoring some of the things on the Abridged wiki. I've done my part in sharing content that has since been lost on I've shared a lot of content that I only have, that a lot of people kind of wonder what happened to. A lot of content that was removed from YouTube, I've been able to restore in my own way. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy that I was able to do so. Because as much as people, hate to think about the Sagas Council or Vegeta Sasuke Zero, a lot of people misunderstand. I don't hate Abridging. I hate the people that monopolize Abridging. The people that hold others down. Because a lot of people misunderstand that, the Abridging world is so free and it's, you can do anything. No, that's not it at all. Because Team 4-Star are the type of people that if they don't like you, they're going to blacklist you from the entire community. A lot of people who don't know who the Sagas Councils are, that's because they made sure that the Sagas Council wasn't really heard of. Team 4-Star are the type of people who will, whisper behind your back, and if they don't want you to get very far, they'll make sure you don't get very far. It's a click basis. You're not going to get very far, especially if you badmouth somebody. That's why a lot of people come to my videos and they're just like, why do you badmouth Team 4-Star? Because they're not as nice of people as you think they are. And I'm sorry to tell you this, because they really aren't the nicest people. They've got a lot of, bad habits. They've got a lot of bad things brewing. It's one of those things where, I'll tell you a story. One time, there was an entire conversation going on about Star Wars, and I chimed in because I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm just like everybody else. I have my likes and dislikes. I'm a fan of certain things. Little Grebo was talking about Star Wars. I chimed in. Surprisingly enough, he does remember me. Let alone taking the whole idea about Abridging is dead and making it into his own meme. He in fact did that. I don't know if anybody really remember that, but he took what we tried to establish and he made it into a meme. But I told him, a couple things. I apologized to the guy. And he still pretty much, essentially called me a bitch and then blocked me. Because he couldn't handle confrontation. The guy who told me when I was first starting out, when I made a parody, and I had him look at it, he told me that I should give up, that I'm never getting anywhere. You're going to tell somebody who is a fan of yours to just give up instead of actually, giving constructive criticism. Instead of telling me what I can improve on, you're going to tell me that I suck and that I should quit while I'm ahead. And just never make videos again. The guy who, rumor has it that his wife wrote the entire first few seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged for him. You're gonna tell your fans that they suck and they should quit. That's petty, unbelievable, and downright dickish. I'm sorry to tell you this, sir, but you're a straight up asshole. All of you guys are. Especially for you guys to try and, make money off of other people's creations. The whole, Tiba, that whole thing was just a ploy to give you guys more time so you could finish your products or projects, whatever you want to call it. It gave you guys time, and it gave you guys an excuse as to why you haven't made videos. Let alone the fact that other people covered your ass and still said that you're working hard. Sure, I don't know what goes on in your lives, but it sure as hell isn't constant work, as you guys like to claim. You guys spend a lot of time going to wrestling events, and it's pretty obvious on your Twitters. Hell, everybody on Dead Horse Interchangeable, they like to point out how you guys are just lazy. And obviously, considering everybody on there, I guess I'm really not the only one who sees these things. And it blows my mind how you guys are still popular. I don't know. This is just my thoughts. Abridging is going to die slowly, and it really has. It's like slowly this is becoming the second dark age of Abridging. And I'm honestly still making content at a slow pace. But there's a reason why I don't like to always label things as abridged. Because Team 4-Star has tainted the term abridged. And it's really, really sad. You guys can do what you want, but I'm still going to make content the way that I want to. And there's not a damn thing you guys can do to stop it. I'm Vegeta Sasuke Zero. That's been my opinion. Sorry about your damn luck. And you know what? We'll see you next time.